Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name's Tholen. This is Great Life Gaming, and today we are going to be looking at an Archean build. What you see before you here is what I'm calling a Mega Autocrafter, and the purpose of the Autocrafter is to take any recipe that you could build in a game, and it'll figure out all the dependencies and put them in an appropriate storage location. Once you pull that item out of storage, it should then rebuild it depending on how you've configured the crafter. If you want it to store 10 of that item, it'll always keep 10 in storage. If you want it to store 100 in that container, you can get it to store 100. So let's dive in and just see how it works. First of all, to get the thing running, you'll have to download the blueprint off the workshop, place it down with the appropriate items, and then plug it in. You're going to need a water connector and a high voltage connector, which we've done here already in preparation for this guide. And then these two boxes on the left are the ones you're going to want to fill. Actually, really only this box here on the left you'll want to fill. Um, Primarily, here's where you're going to put your rocks. So if we put some rocks in here, the Autocrafter will detect that rocks are in the container. It'll fire up the crusher and crush items and put them right here and organize them for us nicely. Now I have a whole bunch of items already here, and we're just going to put them in for us already, so we don't have to crush too much, just so we can show another demonstration. Okay, so these containers here on the right are all organized based on which the various components you're going to want to store and craft. So this one is all the components starting from A, so aileron, all the way down to the L's, low velocity um, relay, you can see there. And the second one contains all the rest. So it goes from M all the way down to Z. I guess it only goes to Spotlight. And so those will be stored here. That's important because a container can only have 50 slots available to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, and this is 10 across. So a container can only contain 50. There are more than 50 components in the game, so that needs to be split up into two. This final container here on the far right contains everything else. So all your construction blocks, your steel beams, all your cabling, and it even has some of the labeling tools, the dashboard tools. So all your construction items, your cabling, and tools all appear here on the far right. Now, if you want to start building something, it defaults to your increment by number here, either 1, 10, 100, or 1,000. Let's just start off with 100, and I'll show you. Um, we could build some of these blocks. Now, you can actually build up to 1,000 at a time. That'll take a little while, but we're just going to demonstrate with 100. And one of the things that's probably going to be common on your list are these blocks when you're doing some construction. So if we're going to say let's build just 100 concrete blocks, if you want 100 of those, hit that button, off it goes, builds 100 for you. Once it's done crafting, you look here, there are 100. Sometimes it'll be a little more than 100. And you look back here at the original box, it would have decreased some of the items here. I think what concrete needs silicon, I can't remember exactly what it needs, and the water and all that stuff. Like, I don't even remember what some of these things need anymore. Construction. So concrete blocks, now they've been using this, yeah, silicon, water, and oxygen. So there we go. It takes care of all that for you. Now, what's really interesting, if you take this out of your inventory, the system will monitor the container, say, oh, I need to have 100 in here, and just replace them and rebuild some more. And it'll do that infinitum. So you never have to go and reconfigure the crafter unless you want more or less in that container. That applies to everything else. So composite blocks, we'll put a few hundred in here as well of the composite blocks. Just click on the arrow up or down, and off it goes. You can even watch some of the progress here. It's got to make the plastics first to go through the whole dependency tree. I think it'll need like 200. Oh, it's probably already making them now. There we go. The crafter works at 100% as long as you provide enough power to the plug at the back, and it'll just crank out as many as you ask. It always does a little bit extra. That's very difficult to avoid, the little bit extra, which we'll talk about in another guide, which I'm planning in the relatively near future. And this will apply to pretty much everything. So let's change our increment by just to 1 so we don't build too many things at once. If we just want an ore scanner, it's a fairly common item. Say I want one ore scanner. Off it goes. It'll do all the dependencies. You can see some of the debugging here I have on the screen. You can see the items being made here in this container. All the dependent items, once it's done, the final item gets put into your final container. And oh, oh, oh. Oh, it's still going. Uh-oh. What's it doing? Oh, there we go. That was interesting. Why it took a little longer than normal there. But it did finish making build. Let's check our battery to make sure it hasn't been depleted. No, we got lots of charge on the battery. So normally it should just, let's try another one just to be sure. A nav instrument. I'll probably need a few of these. Might as well just try this as well. Just to be sure. It's going to build it for us. Off it goes. Detects that it needs an extra run in this container. Creates all the circuits, all the dependent items. I do think I know what's going on here. It fails it every once in a while, and it keeps retrying until it successfully builds it. So, there we go. All right, so that's the basics of the crafter. It's got a few other nice little features that you might be interested in. So the other thing it does like an auto sorting. So here you can see I've got a whole bunch of stuff in my inventory. If we want to put these things in storage, if I just say, oh, I'm going to drop my high voltage batteries in this container here, so the second one from the left, this container right here that contains all the raw resources. If I drop, say, just high voltage batteries in here, it should detect this and then move it to the appropriate container. H would be right here, and there they are. So all we need to do is take all of our items, so containers, hard drives, beams, junctions. Let's just dump all these things in there, and you'll see them disappear. Takes a couple of seconds for it to actually notice. A whole bunch of stuff here. These are things I've built in the crafter. Now let's not move things like circuits in here. I guess we can move circuits in there. Actually, that's fine. The casings, the wires, the diodes. Oh, it even has a little silicon ore that I forgot to put in there. It'll pretty much sort it and take all of care of it for you. Diodes we don't want in inventory anymore. So you no longer need things like discs, connectors, capacitors in your inventory anymore. All that stuff you could dump right into here, and the system will take care of that for you. Even the concrete blocks. So it keeps everything in here, all the subcomponents that it needs to build something of use. But from henceforth, after you use the Mega Crafter, you'll no longer need to craft any of the magnets, any of the screws, any of the capacitor circuits, all that stuff. You can just plop in here. It'll use that for crafting. And you can see, as we plop those in there, they got moved into their appropriate container. And you even see a nice green highlighted bar saying the container has already satisfied your requirements here. I mean, you've only set a requirement of 0. We actually haven't changed it. But you can keep trying to increase this number, and then it says, oh, I don't have enough anymore. I'm going to have to actually go make some, and boom, there it is. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. That's the Mega Crafter. We'll be doing some other guides quite soon in Archean to try and maybe explain how this Mega Crafter works. That's going to be a project in and of itself because the crafting and the coding for Archean are fairly sophisticated. But to get started, feel free to download this blueprint. It's on the Steam Workshop now. You'll find a link in the description. I hope you enjoy it. I'll be also showcasing this build on my Twitch at Tholen1000. That's also in the description. Please go check that out. Like and subscribe to the video if you got some use out of it, please. And I'll see you later. Thanks a lot. Bye.